So guys, right now we are playing a rapid games only. A rapid game. So by doing this stuff, I will try and slow down, trying to think, like explain to you the thinking process, how to play fine games, and also like how to make a plan in chess games. You can feel free to ask me questions after the game for sure, or even along the game. I will try and ask some lessons and you know, some lessons and some questions as well about like what the moves that I think is not hard for you. Sure? Ready? And okay, I think time's up. Time's up. Let's go. Okay, so I meet the guy Krabin 123. The last time I played e4, I think. This time let's play d4. Okay, so now he play the I think some kind of modern defense, I guess. So now you guys, what do you want me to play? What do you want me to play? I can play the c4 here, which can transpose to the King's Indian defense. No, yeah. Or e4 here, which transpose to the Pyrrh. What do you want me to play? I can do both stuff, but I mean, e4, so you can do c3 later. There are plenty of stuff. Yeah, okay, let's go for some basic plan. e4. Here's g7, right? So now if we play c4, we play c4, I mean c4, we can come back to the King's Indian defense. But King's Indian is actually not easy to play. Okay, let's play the kid. Let's go. I think the kid, that can be a lot of stuff to talk through and also something to learn as well. Knight 6, come on. Here we are with the K80. So the typical setup for the King's Indian defense is that white is getting the center, black trying to develop this bishop to g7, fianchetto to g7, and then he can try to strike back in the center with c5 and e5 later. That is the normal idea. Let's play the main line. Knight 3. Well, c4 is not wrong. I mean, c4 is a thing that played by, everyone plays that. So things like that is wrong simply doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know, but probably. Okay, so now this guy Krabin is trying to, I think, copy Fabiano Caruana. If you know this line or this game, this is what Caruana played in the game between him and Radoslav Vosacek in the Tata Steel, right? And he go with the very astonishing move c3 later in the game, alright? This is what Caruana played for black. It's bishop e3, trying to develop this bishop to good squares, defend e4 as well. This pawn is always a thing you need to be careful with in the King's Indian defense. Maybe d7, bishop e2. Defend the spin, that's all. Trying to stay away from the spin, you can play knight e2 next, or simply castling. The bishop on g4 will be ready to exchange to f3 or e2 whenever he can. Yeah, I mean that stuff is very, very famous earlier, but in a different opening. I think that move by Caruana simply surprised everyone who watching the game, since they think that the bishop on g7 is so strong, and no, there's no need to go for that trade, right? But he proved everyone to be wrong. This is simply, I think, his preparation at home, I guess, right? While we're so close to coming back to 800 again, thanks to, Montana, you're so insane. I mean, whatever it is, you guys are here with me to enjoy my chess, enjoy my content. I feel so happy, right? And come on, bro. I mean, doing that, Danya will run away right away. If we do that, Danya will run right away. So let's slow down, slow down. Maybe there can be a day we do that, but not right now for sure. No, what am I talking about? c5. Actually, this move is quite bad. I don't know. The idea by black is trying to attack in d4 and also try open up this bishop. But this move has a really important stuff. Since it work, it makes this pawn on d6 exposed, right? Bishop e3, retreating, and now this bishop is really, this pawn on d6 is really bad. Sure. Now we need to find something to defend that pawn. Now you fight correct. Bishop e2. Just come back home. Castles. Now the first part of the game I think can finish. Now there comes the second part. Well, hopefully have time Rase, since I need to go really early today. I need to go in around like 17 minutes. Queen d2. Now second plan. We see his position, his pawn d6, right? This is quite bad. So now we want to get the queen d2 and doubling. Attack the d6 pawn. Knight g4. So here, he wants to threat bishop on e3. So my friends, one thing you should always remember clearly when you play white against the King's Indian is that never threat this bishop on e3. Since, this bishop is like the only thing that can fight with this bishop on g7, that can neutralize that. Now if you allow black to change this one, it is never good for you. Remember? This is very important stuff, to know if you're playing white against the King's Indian. Bishop g4, he can take the knight here and another threat, so I think just refrain from that, bishop f4. And now we get him thinking about this move, and taking this pawn d6, right? You understand? Well, all the game is like a good stuff to learn. But this is like about the pattern. What Rase is trying to mention is about the pattern. That game by Fischer and Fabiano is like the same pattern. Well, what a tempo? The thing I can say is that if we play bishop g5, he is not forcing to play f6. He can play like queen d7 or queen b6, I guess so. That's why I think it's not that wise to go for bishop g5. Let's go this since, and now h3, like this. Kicking this knight away, also opening a fly square for the king. A very useful move that normally you guys can try and play when you don't know what to play in the game. Okay, now guys. Now obviously we want to get the rook to attacking the d6 pawn, right? This is my first question today. Which rooks come to d1 right now? Rook a d1 or f d1? You guys get 1 minute. Let's go. Let's try to think and give me your ideas. Yeah, that game between Nadal and Deliverage is like real famous. I know that for sure. Okay, let's go. Now the correct rook is rook a1. Since the rook f is quite useful in this FL, also you can come e1 next. So once again, remember that the rook belongs. One moment. The rook belongs to the open file or semi-open file. So now we got two semi-open file in the board, right? This D file and the E file. So as I mentioned earlier, the rook belongs to the open file and semi-open file. If the open file doesn't exist, the rook simply belongs to the semi one, and now simply the rook need to stay on D1 and E1, right? That's why your rook will stay at rook a D1. That is correct. Not yet. Defending this pawn. Rook E1 is a good idea, but you have different idea. Bishop E3 again. Now, since he defend that idea, now we have another step, I guess. F4, I guess so. Trying attacking him. H5 actually is a bad move since he allowed me to attacking him quite, I think. Oh, F5! Surprising. But it's not wrong indeed. Okay guys, I just got small questions. Very small questions indeed. When you learn a lot of, like some stuff in the... I don't know what to say. Okay, let's go something easy. Why to play and win a pawn? Why to play and win a pawn? Let's go. Yeah, black castles looks quite actually bad. And also I will go in around like 10 minutes as well. So no worry. Why not you to find the correct way? Queen d5 is not that strong. Since I'm taking the 1b7, he can go to b8, right? So now bishop c5. We've got the pin on the d file. Yes it is, right? This is the way. Bishop c5, correct. And now simply we're back. His pawn here is still really bad, right? And he simply didn't solve his situation. His pieces is really uncoordinated. His pawn simply so many pawn island. Things looking bad for him. Attacking the pawn c4. I can do some other stuff, but okay, I want to play something quite basic. b3. Defend the pawn, right? Yeah, this can always be a move that you can play. This one on a4. But taking this pawn c5 first also prevent the idea by black to go like this stuff. I see this earlier. I will try to mention that again after the game with the brief analysis. Well, why? Here I think good question. You can go for this to transfer to the endgames. But here I think that it's not worth it. Since I see his king is so bad. His position, his pieces position seems to be really, really bad. That's why I want to take it right away, instead of trying to trade into the endgame. And this bishop with g7, and this bishop on g7 is also quite strong as well, right? So I think it should be a bit smarter to preserving the pieces into in the position and trying to ride him instead of changing into a middle game. To endgame where up 2 pawns. I think his king is so bad. So, as I mentioned earlier, there can be 2 stuff to do when you're up material. Go to endgame, or try to attacking with the material. So here I choose the second option. And guys, how to win an exchange right now? How to win an exchange right now? He simply blundered. Now this is time. Now I don't see the reason why not, right? How to win exchange? Obviously, everyone left at g5 and I am not reception. Well, on the d5 he can play like rook e6, I guess. Rook e6. That's why, although this is fine, I think pinning him right away makes more sense. Knight e5. Good move. Knight d5. Before taking f6, I want to put even more pressure on the f6 f6 squares, which we know will making him really, really... Okay, now I'm better for sure. You see his pieces right now? Looks so bad. No, there's no increment. But I'm pretty confident that I can, finish this game in time. Rook c5. Guys, so once again, in chess, there is a very good advice that when you see things completely tied up, don't get hasty. Simply try and improve the position. Now simply you see he had no way to escape from this attack, right? From this pin. And we can take that when we want to. So now just keep developing. Get the rook to the open file. Right? This is nasty. Since right now we got another threat. Rook e8. Things is so bad for him. I can say that. But plenty of way to win this position. This pin's so strong. You can see the position here, right? Let's go. We're on upper pawn. But the okay, so why to play and win? Why to play and win, guys? I want to try to keep explaining. So white is having a strong knight, a strong bishop, strong ropes, everything's so strong. The pawn also is so great as well. Now, how to win? Come on, Rasei. Why are you making me like why you remind me of that PP on the stuff, bro? This is much easier since like his pawn is also bad. So now this bishop is free. That's all, and this is the end. I will try and talk again through this one really soon. I think the game can finish right now. So you guys feel free to ask me questions about this game. I will try my best to explain everything. Okay guys, meet him. Go. Meet him. Now it depends on you. You got 20 seconds left to meet him. I'll wait for you. Meet him. Well, when you're downtime, so torture your opponent is not that ideal. I can say that. Well, even teams see the miss, right? So there's no reason why we don't go for this. GG. No worries, no worries. I see the mid. I'm sorry, team. I don't mean that. I'm sorry, team. I don't mean that. But okay. Yeah, this is not hard for sure, right? Okay, so let's go to the analysis right away. I'm sorry, team. I don't mean that. Your team is so strong, bro. What do you think? Well, Brandon is not here. I think Brandon is not here, I guess. So, I think he should be in the Dania streams right now. I guess that. But okay, we can try and read him right away after 5 minutes. Okay, so guys, let's go through the game quite quick. Have no time left. Here we are. No, not that. One moment. Here we are. This is the game play in the King's Indian defense. This is e4, 7. You can play an f3 here and a c3, which can transpose to the pirk, right? To the pirk. Well, so if you want to see, so here we are. You can go for the pirk here, but in the game, I want to play the King's Indian for you guys to understand the stuff. c4, d6, knight c3, knight f6, knight f3. So the main line here, I think we all know that, like castling, right? Castling bishop e2, e5, castling knight c6, whatever it is. That's the main line. But this is what Caruana played in the Tata Steel, I think a month ago. So what is played by the top player will be met. Will be quite trendy and will be copied by some lower rated players. But still, I want to recommend you not playing Kit so early. This thing is quite complex and requires some, some theory as well, and also some of the knowledges. So this is hard, I can say. My recommendation is that don't go into this line. That's all. That's all. This one, this one requires your complexity. This one simply requires you to know how to play in some complicated position. And in the French, you know how to play in some boring and some position about like maneuver, positional stuff. This is quite different. But once again, it depends on your style. If you're a fan of something complex, this is fine. But you cannot love positional stuff, but still play King's Indian. That simply makes no sense, right? Knight bishop e3, knight d7, bishop e2. Stopping the pin here. Well, I mean, like, actually, that is not hard. I can say, all the lies are not hard. They just simply get a lot of theory need to be learned. That's correct. I mean, like in the Sicilian, in the King's Indian defense, you need to learn a lot of stuff. I can tell you that. Like after here, F3. I mean here, there is like how many moves one can play here? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Basically, 12 moves one can play here. And to be fully armored, you need to know on 12 moves. I can say. Yeah, even queen can move, but queen move is not that strong here. I think queen d3 should be the only move here, but it doesn't seem to be so strong. So I don't want to mention some early, like some bad looking lies. Like a3 can be a move, but that simply doesn't like appeal to the variation, right? A lot of options need to be learned. That's why I don't recommend Kit and Sicilian simply because you need to learn a lot. And I know for most of us we are lazy, right? I mean, deep down inside us there are some guy lazy living inside, so you know what I mean, right? F3, E5. Castles, he takes. This is early, I think he can castling first, but somehow he thinks that this bishop, he want to get rid of this one right away. Takes. E4, d4. Now if he castles, the portion is quite, I think, around equal. I played rook e1, queen d2, rook d1, trying to develop like the same thing as I do in the game. But obviously, play is quite solid. But he plays c5, that's a bad move for him. Since he, this is a positional mistake. By pushing the pawn, somehow you make this pawn become weakened, right? I suppose as well. Just think twice before, a very, very important lesson is that. Think twice before pushing a pawn or trading a piece, since the pawn cannot move backwards and the trading piece cannot appear again on the board. Remember? Well, I mean, like, you can try to give me some suggestion. I will try, in my Discord, I will try to make that video after the third part of the elephant. Well, I think we'll release pretty soon. I'm so lazy right now to do that. Bishop e3. Yeah, so one thing Tim also remind me to say is that don't trade the bishop on the dark squares in the King's Indian. Since by doing that, you will make the bishop g7 so dominating. So dominating. Takes. It's bishop e2, castles, queen d2. So the plan is simply trying to draw this pawn. G4. So as I mentioned earlier, don't trading right. H4, H5, a very bad looking move. H3, useful. Rook d1, knight e8. Now actually I can even play knight b5 as well, but I just play bishop e3. Not only with f4 ideas to attacking his pawn structures on the king side, but also this is my hidden idea that my opponent ignored, and I think you can forget. Well, this is an idea, but in the game I try to go for something different. That's why. And also, I mean, bishop h2, I can go for this. This is what I don't like. This is what I don't like in the game. I cannot in time to tell. Since, now, trading looks so fine, but you got a pawn. But you see how strong this one is, right? How strong this one on g7 is. That's why I don't like the trade. Although now I'm a pawn, things not easy. You can go to d4 as well. So thing here is not that easy for us. You can compare two bishops with each other. You can see how bad our bishops are, right? Absolutely it is. So bishop e3 with the idea to pushing f4, grabbing the center, and also this one that I missed. f5. So okay, I need to go really soon, like in 1 minute. I think my student is waiting for me. Let's go quick. So for black player, a very important lesson for you. You can only play f5. This stuff. When the pawn is on h7. Actually, there is another exception in the Zamage variation, but this thing will make your king side become really weak, I can say that. So you can only push f5 if your pawn is still h7. It's fine for you. Also, he missed my main threat of this one, right? It's main threat of this one. c5. So now he can attack since he will lose this one, right? b6, b3 back. As I mentioned earlier to Anter, I am not taking here since I don't think I like this position. I mean, his bishop is quite irritating as well. And now I see that, I evaluate this position that he got a lot of, weaknesses that we can draw up easily. Also, we get some strong square for our pieces as well. So that is the reason why I keep the bishop in the board. Slowly you're writing, and you make mistakes at the end, right? And slowly trying to exploit this, and I'm not hasty to taking on f6. You can find how bad black's position is. Have nothing to do, and need to defend against own kind of threats. And at the end, he stumbled, right? He stumbled at the end. He would admit. Well, my student's pretty good. He should be like around 2200, actually. Yeah, maybe he's in my stream. I need to go right now. If not, he will try and call me.